There's a feeling that arrives in late December that no one really talks about. It's not sadness. Not quite relief either. It's the sensation of standing in a room after everyone has left. The music is off. The lights are still on. And you're not sure if you're supposed to clean up or just sit down. That's where you are right now. You didn't plan to feel this way. You thought by now you'd have something to show for the year. Some proof. Some transformation you could point to and say, "See? I did it." But instead, you're here. In the space between what you hoped for and what actually happened. And the strange part? You're not falling apart. You're just standing there. The days move differently now. Not slower, exactly. More like they've loosened their grip. The urgency that pushed you through September, October, even November, it's fading. The year is winding down, and with it, the pressure to fix everything before the clock runs out. The light outside changes earlier. Darkness comes before you're ready. And somehow that feels right. Like the world is giving you permission to stop performing. You stop checking your progress as obsessively. You stop pretending you're about to have a breakthrough. You start to let things be unfinished. And in that space, that quiet, unglamorous space, something shifts. Not hope in the way you've been taught to recognize it. Not the kind that makes you want to run towards something. This is different. This is the hope that appears when you stop trying to manufacture it. Most people think hope is loud. That it announces itself with clarity and direction. That it shows up as motivation, energy, a sudden burst of knowing what to do next. But that's not the part most people notice. The hope that comes at the end of the year doesn't feel like hope at all. It feels more like exhaling. Like finally putting something down that you've been carrying for months without realizing how heavy it was. You don't wake up one morning with a plan. You wake up and realize you're not as afraid as you were a few weeks ago. Not because anything got solved. But because you stopped needing it to be. There's a tension that builds throughout the year that no one really names. It's the tension between who you thought you'd be by now and who you actually are. Between the story you told yourself in January and the one you're living in December. You made promises. To yourself, mostly. Quiet ones. The kind no one else heard. You'd be different by now. Healthier. More focused. More certain. You'd have figured out the thing that's been sitting in the back of your mind for years. But here you are. Still figuring it out. Still carrying the same questions. And at some point in December, you stop apologizing for that. Not because you've given up. But because you realize that maybe the point was never to have it all figured out. Maybe the point was just to keep going. To stay in the room even when the lights dimmed. To not leave yourself behind. If this feels familiar, you're not alone here. There's something about this time of year that makes people feel like they're the only ones who didn't cross the finish line. Like everyone else had a breakthrough and you're still standing at the starting point. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is that you're finally seeing the year for what it was. Not what you wanted it to be. Not what you were afraid it would become. Just what it was. And in that clarity, brutal as it might feel, there's a kind of peace. Because you can't hate yourself for not becoming someone you were never supposed to be. The exhaustion you feel right now isn't just physical. It's the exhaustion of pretending. Of holding yourself to a standard you didn't fully choose. Of trying to prove something to people who weren't even paying attention. You spent so much of the year trying to be productive. Trying to optimize. Trying to make sure every hour counted towards something measurable. And now, in these last few weeks, you're too tired to keep up the performance. You let the dishes sit. You watch something you've already seen. You go to bed without finishing the thing you said you'd finish. And nothing collapses. The world doesn't end because you stopped forcing it. That's the rupture. The moment when you realize that maybe rest isn't something you earn. Maybe it's something you've been denying yourself because you didn't think you deserved it yet. There's a moment no one talks about that happens around this time. It's the moment when you stop waiting for permission to feel okay. You've been waiting for something external to change. A sign. A result. A conversation that finally makes sense of everything. But it doesn't come. And instead of spiraling, instead of collapsing into despair, you just keep living. You make coffee in the morning. You go through your day. You talk to people. You feel things. You let things go. And somewhere in that ordinariness, something quiet happens. You stop needing the year to mean something specific. You stop needing yourself to be someone you're not. Hope doesn't arrive when you're ready for it. It arrives when you stop demanding that it look a certain way. It arrives when you're too tired to fight yourself anymore. When you stop treating your own existence like a problem to solve. It arrives in the gaps. In the pauses. In the moments when you're not trying to become anything. You're sitting alone, maybe. Or walking somewhere familiar. Or staring out a window at nothing in particular. And you feel it. Not as excitement. Not as certainty. Just as a faint sense that you're not done yet. Not because you have something left to prove. But because there's still something here worth staying for. Some people come back to this feeling more than once. Not because they're broken. But because it's the only feeling that doesn't demand anything from them. It's the feeling of being enough without having to prove it. Of existing without having to justify it. It's the feeling that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to wait until you're perfect to be kind to yourself. Maybe you can be kind to yourself now. In the mess. In the unfinished. In the not knowing. Maybe that's what this whole year was trying to teach you. You thought the year was supposed to make you someone new. But what if it was just supposed to make you more yourself? Not the version of yourself you've been trying to become. The one you already are. The one who's been here the whole time, underneath the pressure and the plans and the endless comparisons. What if the year was just about learning to stay? To stay in your life. To stay with your feelings. To stay with the person you are, even when it's uncomfortable. Not to fix yourself. Not to transcend yourself. Just to stay. There's a comfort in unfinished stories that people don't talk about enough. Everyone wants closure. Everyone wants the clean ending. The moment when everything clicks into place and the lesson becomes clear. But life doesn't work that way. Most stories don't end. They just pause. They shift. They continue in ways you don't expect. And the hope that appears at the end of the year is the hope that comes from accepting that. From realizing that you don't need the story to be over to be okay with where you are. You can arrive at December unfinished. Uncertain. Still figuring it out. And that's not failure. That's just being human. You've been so afraid of repetition. Afraid that next year will be the same as this one. That you'll make the same mistakes. Feel the same things. End up in the same place, staring at the same ceiling, wondering why nothing ever really changes. But what if repetition isn't the problem? What if the problem is thinking you're supposed to outrun yourself? You're not supposed to become someone else. You're supposed to learn how to be with who you are. And that takes time. More time than a year. More time than you've given yourself. The quiet hope that appears now isn't the hope that you'll finally change. It's the hope that you'll finally stop needing to. If you're still here, listening to this, it means something. It means you're looking for a way to make sense of what you're feeling. A way to name it. A way to know that it's okay to feel this way. And it is. It's okay to arrive at the end of the year without answers. Without proof. Without the transformation you thought you needed. It's okay to feel relief and regret at the same time. To feel tired and hopeful in the same breath. It's okay to not know what comes next. The year is almost over. And you're still here. Not because you did everything right. Not because you figured it all out. But because you kept going. Even when it was hard. Even when it felt pointless. Even when no one was watching. You kept going. And that matters more than you think it does. There's a version of you that exists in the space between years. The version that doesn't belong to the past or the future. The version that just exists. Right now. In this moment. That version of you isn't trying to be anything. Isn't apologizing for anything. Isn't waiting for anything. That version of you is just here. And maybe that's enough. Maybe it's always been enough. The hope that appears when the year is almost over isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't promise anything specific. It doesn't tell you what to do or who to become. It just sits with you. In the quiet. In the dark. In the space where nothing is certain and everything is still possible. It doesn't ask you to believe in it. It just asks you to notice it. To notice that you're still here. That you're still breathing. That you're still open to something you can't yet name. You don't have to know what it is yet. You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to have a resolution. You don't have to have anything figured out. You just have to let yourself feel it. The quiet sense that something is coming. Not dramatically. Not suddenly. But slowly. Gently. In the way things always come when you stop forcing them. Maybe that's what hope really is. Not the certainty that things will get better. But the willingness to stay long enough to find out. The willingness to keep showing up. To keep trying. To keep being here, even when you don't know why. Even when it feels like nothing is happening. Especially then. The year is almost over. And you made it. Not perfectly. Not easily. But you made it. And that quiet, unsettling feeling you have right now. That's not emptiness. That's space. Space for something new. Something unnamed. Something that doesn't need to be understood yet. Just felt. So feel it. Let it sit with you. Let it move through you. Let it be whatever it needs to be. Don't rush it. Don't define it. Don't demand that it makes sense. Just let it be here. With you. In the quiet. In the almost over. In the not yet begun. Because that's where hope lives. Not in the loud moments. Not in the breakthroughs. Not in the transformations. But in the pauses. In the breath you take before something changes. In the moment you realize you don't have to be ready for what's next. You just have to be here now. And you are. You're here. Still here. And that's more than enough. The year is ending. But you're not. Something is coming. You don't know what it is yet. And maybe that's the point. Stay with it. Whatever it is. It's already here.